Good morning to Latin America, good afternoon to Europe and Africa, and good night to Asia. And for the last time, welcome to the Changing Transport Showtime. My name is Nadja Tega. I'm a junior advisor for transport and climate change. And as for the last 3 days, with me is my colleague Ernesto Feilbogen, who's a project manager for urban mobility and energy. And well, as I said, for the last time, we are already on the third day of the showtime and the 4th day of the Transport and Climate Change Week. For the last time, we are transmitting this show live to you from Berlin. And well, it was a great experience, I must say, for the first time for me in front of a camera in a real TV studio. Very daunting at first, but by now actually quite some fun. And well, I want to ask Ernesto, how do you feel?
Well, good afternoon, Nadia, and all the friends that join us. I must say it is the last time for us in the week, and we can see that we are now like in slow motion, a little bit tired, but we will do it. We will do the showtime today as well. You know, the Transport and Climate Change Week is organized by the Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit on behalf of the Federal Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety, financed by the International Climate Initiative. And as usually in every showtime, we want to share with you number of figures that tells how is it going, the Transport and Climate Change Week. You can see the screen, and now in yellow we have new figures that we got. More than 80 hours of program, and an amazing number, 1,400 plus, more than this, participants. And this is something new, 7 launches. What is this about, Nadia?
Had 7 launches actually of different types of things. So we launched, for example, the tracker of climate strategies for transport, a database on climate policies in the newly or in all nationally determined contributions and long-term strategies. And we also, for example, launched a network for women in Asia working on transport that is called Women on the Move. We also had the graphic novel Future Ahoy that was translated by GISA in cooperation with Verkehrswende. So you see many other inputs as well. Let's see what comes tomorrow, but we're very proud to have been well, the event for the launches of all these great things, networks and studies and so on and so forth. And as always, we also want to come now to explaining to you a little bit what the showtime is, because maybe there is some participants among you that have been here for the first time now. So the showtime is about bringing together different country presentations. We have videos from different countries, participating countries, that show the transport sector, but we also have videos, contributions, even live interviews from NGOs, international organizations, and academia. And with this, we try to be the nut that links everything together, that links together the program from Asia to Europe to Africa and Latin America. And now we come already to the poll of the day. Maybe you have heard of this before. If you've watched the showtime before, you already know the gist. We want to ask you a question. You have 1 hour to answer it. For that, you need to go to the poll section of our platform. You find that right next to the live stream. It says chats, polls, and I think wall of ideas in the tabs. Click on polls. There we will find the Changing Transport Showtime poll of the day. And you will also find another poll, actually. You will find a feedback survey there. I think this is open maybe for the next hour. And we would kindly like to ask you to fill out this feedback survey. Let us know what you thought of the showtime. Did you like it? Do you maybe have ideas for improvement? Share with us your opinion. But for now, let's come to the poll. So we are interested in your opinion about the transport sector post-COVID. What do you think? Will it be more sustainable maybe? Will we have learned our lesson? Will we have made good use of this opportunity? Or will it maybe even be less sustainable than before? Or do we come out of this crisis unchanged? Who knows? We would like to know what you think. Let us know. We will check out the results at the end of this showtime. But we also have the quiz. Isn't that right, Ernesto?
Quiz time. I like this section. And the first quiz is saying, what is the most commonly named mitigation measure in the second round of the NDC? There are several options. The most commonly named mitigation measure: public transport improvement, electric mobility, active mobility, or use of alternative fuels? We can give you 2 or 3 seconds, and you will see the answer, the most commonly named mitigation measure in the second round of the NDC. Nadia, tell us the truth. Electric mobility is very much mentioned in the second round of the NDC. There is another quiz that we can share with you. Yeah, in order to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement, transport emissions must remain the same, decline by 50% from current levels, decline by 75% current level, again, in order to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement. We are talking about transport emissions. 1, 2, 3 seconds, we have now the answer. It is coming. Decline by 75% from current levels.
Great. Thank you very much, Ernesto. We hope that was fun for you. We will now watch a little video, only 20 seconds, to give you a glimpse behind the scenes. And here you see how we are working very hard to provide social media, to answer all your questions, to manage the program, all the different things. Here we come to the studio. That was actually from yesterday. We were recording the Showtime from yesterday there. And here, very, very important room. This is where everything comes together, where we organize the transmission. And, well, you saw many, many people involved. And we want to thank those people. We already thanked the companies that support us. We already thanked the regional hub coordinators that are super important to make this really this hybrid and global event, so that we have events all over the world, not only here in Berlin. But now we want to come to thanking the event support team. Those people that you see here, without them, all this would not have been possible. They have worked tirelessly for the last few, well, days, weeks, and even months. And they started out as interns, most of them, but became real great conference managers, who are really the backbone of this year's Transport and Climate Change Week. So we really want to thank them so much for their hard work. And they supported, among others, this core team, or the support to the core team. This is Julia Remmers, who was also an intern and who managed and took care of the website and of the platform, for example. So thanks to her, everything looks as it looks and is nice and easy for you to use. Then we also had Mirjam Bosbach, who was busy with the program and also communications. And we have to thank Ute Peters, who's behind the scenes right now. She's basically our director. She is the conference manager who, well, brings everything together, makes sure that we all stay in communication and keeps us calm and steady. So a big thank you to the three of those.
And all the team normally has a head, a coordination people, and this is Friedel, this is Jana, and this is Valerie. They work very hard, again, more than a year, only thinking about Transport and Climate Change Week, dreaming everything only in this address. Perhaps after Friday, they will have a rest. One special thanks to Miriam, that she helped us a lot in this showtime, and we had to awake her this morning, 5 o'clock in Mexico, to send last-minute information. Done with this, and this is the next section where we invite our boss, Daniel. Very welcome.
Good afternoon, good morning.
And as usual, we will present you kind of word cloud for you to have an idea what happened yesterday, what can you share with us, some things that you think were very special.
Yeah, thank you. I think you see the big word shift in the middle of that bus, that was really the topic of yesterday. And we had some very interesting events. I would like to highlight something that went on in the Latin American regional program. That was a workshop called Beyond Electrification. And so that was really looking at all these issues that cannot be solved by technology. And I think that's really fascinating. And I think in many of the expert clinics going on yesterday, there were topics discussed related to shifting to the climate-friendly modes.
Yes, and then we are in the last edition of the Showtime, how did you feel here with us? How do you think about this format? Are you pleased? You want to continue with this in the next edition?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable, Ernesto, and I think I stay here for a little longer so you can interview me, because I don't want to do it the last time.
That is true. Yeah, but we
you
only
have been a
an
wonderful
hour.
team. I would like to thank the two of you for making this Showtime possible and for leading us through the day, through 3 very packed days. I know it was a lot of work for you, and it's really a big thank you to the two of you for making it possible.
Thank you. Our pleasure. It was really a lot of fun. Well, what if you look back now at the Transport and Climate Change Week, of all the formats, we did it in a hybrid way. Maybe next year we do it physically, but what do you want to, what did you learn from this? I would really like to know, maybe something that we do next year again.
I learned that it's more work to do a virtual hybrid event than other ones. But in addition to this, I learned, I think, that there are ways to get together and to communicate. And I do not want to highlight one. I just think that the variety of different events that we have, this is really the salt and pepper in the soup that really makes it interesting. I would like to say something, because today is really the day where we look on the improve and the technology side. I would like to say we need both, and this is, I think, something of the format that is important. We need the mobility transition to avoid and shift transport to the low carbon modes and to reduce distances, but at the same time we need to tackle the technologies. And this is so fascinating by all the partners around here, that we have all the different sides and we really can transform transport.
Great. I think that is a very, very nice closing statement from your side for the last time. Or would you like to add something? Maybe we can buy us some time.
You have more time?
I don't think so, but I don't want to kick you off the stage. It's the last Showtime. Maybe one last statement if you want.
So I think we are still having quite a lot of program in front of us. Even if it is the last Showtime, it's not the end of the Transport Week. So we, for example, have now today another workshop on electric mobility, and this is together with the Transformative Urban Mobility Initiative, which is funded by BMZ. You know, the Transport Week is made possible by the German Federal Ministry of Environment, but we partner very closely also with the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. And this is one example where I think this partnership of all the different German institutions is quite important. I'm looking forward to that workshop, but there are many more by the colleagues of the Latin American program. And I saw, for example, eco-driving, colleagues in Peru contributed to it, and electrification, financing electrification. So stay tuned.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Daniel. With that, we come indeed to the first country presentation of the last Showtime. This will be, if I'm not wrong, this will be Costa Rica.
El plan de descarbonización es nuestra estrategia de largo plazo. Con este definimos nuestro compromiso de ser emisiones netas cero en el 2050 y establece una serie de ejes para llegar a cumplir esa meta. Es importante resaltar que hay 3 de estos ejes que están orientados al transporte, porque esa es nuestra principal fuente de emisiones. Los 3 primeros ejes del plan justamente lo que buscan es, por un lado, cambiar el modelo de ciudad muy centrado en esa transformación de la movilidad sostenible, la electrificación del transporte, que es fundamental, y buscar también opciones para el transporte de carga, donde incluso se menciona un rol para el hidrógeno. El 90% de las metas al 2022 están iniciadas y que un 25% de estas metas ya están cumplidas. Con relación al avance de las metas de transporte, hay avances muy interesantes. Por un lado, el proceso de electrificación, las estaciones de recarga que hemos venido estableciendo a lo largo de todo el país. Estamos iniciando un piloto de buses eléctricos con un apoyo de fondos IKI que nos permite ver el comportamiento de esta tecnología en las rutas nacionales, con el nivel de congestión, con la geografía que tiene el país.
está la ley de incentivos y promoción del transporte eléctrico, con la cual estamos trabajando para impulsar no solamente los vehículos eléctricos.
Con el apoyo de Mi Transporte hemos avanzado una serie de hitos en mejoras regulatorias. Tenemos ahora hitos con las municipalidades, ese trabajo que hacen para reconvertir estas ciudades, hacerlas ciudades centradas en las personas y no en los vehículos, mejoras de infraestructura de movilidad no sostenible, mejoras de aceras, mejoras en ciclovías. Entonces hay un paquete muy integral de avances que estamos viendo y que son el motor de transformación.
Y una de las, además de las políticas, una de las leyes importantes que se han aprobado en los últimos años es la ley de movilidad y seguridad ciclista, en donde no solamente se impulsa este modo de transporte, sino también que finalmente se llega a un reconocimiento de que los peatones son parte del sistema de transporte y que por lo tanto ocupan el primer lugar de la movilidad. Hemos acompañado el proyecto de Euroclima Plus, que con la ayuda del Ministerio y sus distintas dependencias como el COSEBI, el CTP, se ha impulsado la demarcación de ciclovías en el cantón de San Pedro y Curridabat por una longitud de más o menos 4 kilómetros.
Que a través del proyecto de Mi Transporte han logrado sentar a parte del sector público y del sector privado para de forma concreta identificar que las mujeres que usan transporte público ocupan ciertas condiciones para sentirse seguras, sentirse cómodas y fundamentalmente poder ser usuarios permanentes.
¿Qué sigue? Siguen proyectos importantes. Obviamente seguimos apostando al tren eléctrico de pasajeros, que es un proyecto estructurante del cambio de modelo de ciudad, al tren de carga en la parte del Caribe, como dos proyectos emblemáticos, y a seguir consolidando, por ejemplo, el ecosistema asociado al hidrógeno.
El Ministerio viene impulsando una serie de mejoras en la infraestructura vial, sobre todo aquí en el área central del país, a efectos de impulsar un modelo de desarrollo urbano asociado con el transporte y la movilidad.
Congratulations to Costa Rica. I think that video really showed that there's a lot going on in transport. Well, first of all, they have this target of net zero emissions by 2050, which is already amazing. And then they showed us a very comprehensive package. So there is a lot going on in electric mobility, I think, that we can all learn from. And also, not only electric mobility, but also active mobility, and talking about a law that puts pedestrians and cyclists first. I really, really liked that and found that impressive. I think many other countries and also cities can learn from that. Maybe even Berlin, if I look outside here. And also, well, this promotion of gender and the safety of women. I think that is a really, really comprehensive package and looks at transport from all perspectives very, very well. Now we continue and look at GoAscendal.
Hello, my name is Andres Gardner. I'm the head of the Latin market here at GoAscendal. We're a strategic advisory company bringing together a team of global mobility experts across advisory, technology, and operations. We have staff in more than 10 different markets, working with global oversight and local expertise to bring solutions to unique challenges faced by our clients, who range from cities to operators to the private sector. As the head of the Latin market, one of the projects I am currently delivering in Mexico is leading the consortium comprised of local and global experts, including ITDP, JETI, Narrative Studio, and Urbanistic, to help the city of Guadalajara update its plan for sustainable urban mobility, known formally as the Programa Integral de Movilidad Urbana Sustentable, equivalent to a sustainable urban mobility plan. Our aim with this project is to pilot a smart, technology-driven approach to generate and analyze accurate and useful data to support future mobility planning in the city. We identified that the best way to do this was through the delivery of a journey planning app for the Metropolitan Institute of Planning of the metropolitan area of Guadalajara, also known as IMEPlan. By utilizing the app, individual user journeys will provide valuable data around how travelers in the region use regulated and also unregulated transport. We are working with software and technology developers in Mexico to ensure local alignment of this launch, which will be the first journey planning mobile app of its kind in Latin America, providing the user details of the informal transit network. We are drawing on existing records for the region, which were established in a 2007 study, alongside using new collection methods to gather more up-to-date data. IMEPlan will market the app through its official communication channels to reach enough users to get the desired volume of data. The multimodal platform will be adapted from an advanced transport mapping tool developed by one of our parent companies, GoMetro, which is a leading international provider of mobility technology and planning solutions. Using this as a foundation, we are building a holistic journey planning tool. We plan to run a pilot test exercise to adjust the app's appearance, user experience features, and debugging to optimize uptake in this new market. Also, a real-time web dashboard will provide an accessible overview of the data as it develops, allowing IMEPlan to focus collection efforts on those geographical areas where there may be data gaps. We will also collect complementary qualitative data regarding public transport conditions through a web survey, and our consortium has experience in incorporating local APIs and also telecommunication companies' information to ensure that multiple data sources are well integrated and also utilized. The data from these sources will provide a detailed picture of mobility patterns in the Guadalajara metropolitan area that can support sustainable mobility efforts and other mobility policies, and also generate rich data sets for use in urban planning and to update the 2007 transport data. Longer term, the legacy of this project relates to the knowledge that authorities from the transport sector in the metropolitan area of Guadalajara will develop during its implementation. So an important part of the project is the capacity building program that has been designed for IMEPlan staff. Our team will conduct interviews with the authorities to help with this on topics like digital platform management, technology and data maintenance, and open data standardization. We will use the results to develop reports and presentation templates to support ongoing projects management within IMEPlan, and design a series of workshops to enhance capabilities in how data is used to improve transport services in the future. At GoAscendal, our international team brings global best practices to gather and integrate transport data into city transport planning in innovative ways, and has developed similar methodologies to this one for clients across Latin America. We are currently contracted to CAF and IDB to deliver an app-based measurement and monitoring system being piloted in Bogotá and Buenos Aires. Our technology is also being implemented in São Paulo, where the project involves the collection of trip diaries for roughly 10,000 participants in the São Paulo metropolitan region. Our work in Guadalajara will provide detailed information to incorporate into the Latin America Urban Mobility Observatory and user movement analytics initiatives that collect data for 29 Latin cities, tracking 16 mobility indicators. This project serves to identify transport-related problems, areas across the continent that need to be addressed to enhance individual city sustainability and overall resilience, something that is particularly important post-COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, GoAscendal. GIZ is one of the 6 implementing agencies working in the Euroclima Plus program financed by the European Union, and we are running a pilot project in Guadalajara, in the metropolitan area of Guadalajara, integrated by 9 municipalities. We are working there with the Metropolitan Institute of Planning, IMEPlan, and we are trying to run a pilot related with an application that will collect data, then will be information and will support mobility planning. GoAscendal is hired by GIZ through a tender process, and what is important to be mentioned that they are already part of an initiative that is a Latin American mobility observatory that is financed by the Inter-American Development Bank as well as Development Bank for Latin American, CAF. We want to link both initiatives and try to improve the result of all of them. And now it is time to go to one of the countries with the most remarkable cuisine in Latin America. It is ceviche time, and I invite you to go to Peru, please.
El tema del transporte siempre ha sido un problema, ha provocado que en el país tengamos diferentes inconvenientes para el desarrollo económico en general. Por eso este era un tema que había que abordarlo de manera integral. Desde el Ministerio de Transporte y Comunicaciones hemos tomado acciones en ese sentido. En primer lugar, hemos aprobado una política nacional de transporte urbano sostenible. El transporte sostenible es vital porque es la única manera en la cual, primero, se protege al medio ambiente. En segundo lugar, se permite que el transporte se desarrolle y crezca en función a las necesidades del país sin generar un daño al medio ambiente, repito, pero además, sobre todo, que los ciudadanos puedan realizarlo en condiciones adecuadas. Y por último, además, que permite una modernización, que la sociedad en su conjunto evolucione, ¿no? Utilizando la tecnología y utilizando el avance existente a nivel de conocimientos en la humanidad. Pero además tenemos un enfoque multimodal, es decir, todos los modos de transporte tienen que estar comunicados uno entre otros y ser parte de un proyecto integral. Creemos adicionalmente que hay que iniciar todos estos procesos interviniendo en lo que son corredores logísticos, que son además los que tienen mayor circulación y mayor movilidad en el conjunto del país.
Promovilidad, el Programa Nacional de Transporte Urbano Sostenible, es un programa adscrito al Viceministerio de Transportes que tiene como objetivo el brindar asesoramiento técnico y financiero a los gobiernos locales para la implementación de sistemas integrados de transporte y sistemas eficientes de transporte, inclusivos, que sean modernos, eficaces, no contaminantes, y va dirigido especialmente el programa a aquellas ciudades que tienen más de 100.000 habitantes y capitales de departamento. Actualmente el ámbito de promovilidad son 29 ciudades del interior del país. El Ministerio de Transportes ha trabajado para efectuar transferencia financiera hasta por 23 millones de soles para la implementación de ciclovías en 25 ciudades del interior del país. Asimismo, hemos trabajado en una guía técnica para la implementación de sistemas de transporte no motorizados, que es una guía que sirve a los gobiernos locales para la implementación de ciclovías en sus respectivas jurisdicciones. Hemos podido capacitar a más de 480 funcionarios en materia de transporte, en ingeniería de transporte y en ingeniería de tránsito. Estamos trabajando en estas 25 ciudades y esta es un inicio de un transporte sostenible, un transporte no motorizado, un transporte amigable, que dicho sea de paso, al margen de que contribuya a evitar de que las personas se contagien con el coronavirus, también contribuye al medio ambiente y contribuye a una movilidad sostenible en el interior del país.
Es la primera vez que se implementa un mecanismo para el retiro definitivo de los vehículos. Se estima que a final de año más o menos 400 o 500 vehículos se van a chatarrear bajo el mecanismo de chatarreo obligatorio, y adicionalmente ya se están empezando a armar programas para chatarreo voluntario. El ciudadano en específico, bueno, él va a recibir una compensación económica que podría servirle para tener una cuota inicial para comprar un nuevo vehículo y tener un vehículo más moderno, ¿no? Para el ecosistema en general es importante mencionar que los vehículos de 15 años, de 20 años, efectivamente producen más emisiones contaminantes que los vehículos modernos o nuevos, y retirarlos del mercado efectivamente va a mejorar la calidad de vida de las personas. Todo este mecanismo de implementación del chatarreo, tanto voluntario como obligatorio, va a tener un componente tecnológico, que es la Plataforma Nacional de Vehículos Chatarrizados. Cada vehículo que vaya a pasar por el periodo de chatarreo va a ser registrado en esta plataforma, y adicionalmente la población en general va a tener la transparencia de saber a qué persona se le otorgó el bono y cuánto dinero se le dio por el chatarreo de su vehículo.
Consideramos que el esfuerzo que se viene realizando va a permitir de que los sistemas integrados de transporte puedan efectivamente garantizar un transporte digno, seguro y acorde a las necesidades del conjunto de los ciudadanos del país. No es posible acciones aisladas para construir un transporte urbano sostenible. Se requiere un esfuerzo colectivo, concertado, pero además como parte de una propuesta integral de tener un país limpio, un país amigable con el ambiente y un país que además permite que la naturaleza se desarrolle al igual que las ciudades.
So, from Peru, we could learn that isolated actions are not possible to implement a sustainable urban transport program. And they even have their own national sustainable urban policy, which I find pretty impressive. They have a program to support sustainable urban transport, and with that, they are already supporting almost 30 cities all over Peru and have built so far 400 kilometers of bike lanes. Not a bad job, I would say. And we can now hear a bit more about action at the urban level. I am here with my colleague Mateo Gomez. He's an advisor for the Mobilize Your City partnership and will tell us about the Mobilize Your City Global Forum that will take place tomorrow. Welcome, Mateo. Tell us a bit more.
Thank you very much, Nadia, and greetings to the audience. Now, first of all, let me share a couple of words about who we are in the Mobilize Your City partnership. Now, Mobilize Your City is a global partnership which was established as well as and is being led and funded by the European Commission and the French and German governments. Now, Mobilize Your City was established in 2015, exactly at the same time when the Paris Agreement was signed, that is at the 21st Climate Conference in Paris. Mobilize Your City works with national and local governments in the Global South, and it supports them to build sustainable, green, and inclusive cities by focusing on the power of sustainable urban mobility planning and project preparation. Currently, we count with 65 member cities and 15 member countries who have committed to improving urban mobility for all their citizens and the environment as well. Now, the Transport and Climate Change Week is very important for Mobilize Your City this year because it will be the first time that we bring most of our stakeholders together to discuss many of the most pressing issues in the Global South at the moment. And the highlight of the day will be the high-level conference, which will be comprised, or we will see participants from development organizations, national and local governments, as well as development banks. Now, what are we going to discuss during the high-level conference? First, we are going to discuss about the importance of planning for mobilizing the finance that is required to implement sustainable mobility measures. Then we will discuss together with national and local governments about the importance of vertical integration between these two levels to empower cities to transition to sustainable mobility. And lastly, we will explore the role of global partnerships to support in the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Now, there will also be 3 technical sessions for Asia, Africa, and Latin America. For Asia, we will be introducing the Mobilize Your City Emissions Calculator, which is a tool that was developed for both national and local governments to support them in building scenarios and assessing the mitigation impact of mobility measures. For Africa and Asia, we will first speak about or see in one session about the power of digitalization to modernize informal transportation. And lastly, we will focus on how to electrify public transportation, especially bus fleets, by presenting 4 of the latest tools and knowledge products to equip mobility practitioners with the necessary knowledge. Thank you very much, and we are looking forward to see you tomorrow.
Thank you very, very much, Mateo, for being here. Well, now we continue. Make sure that you join tomorrow for the Mobilize Your City Global Forum. We heard many, many interesting things about that right now. But for now, we continue with the showtime, and we will look at Logios, which is a company that helps cities and governments with a data-driven approach to get to transportation, to clean transportation strategies.
Logios share with us some important statements. They feel part of a generation committed to recover our urban living spaces, to address social questions and save the planet. How to transform transportation system in cities with smart investment. The answer, or part of the answer they have, is technology. Technology may support investment decisions. That was Logios. Thank you very much. And now I feel like a smell, and this smell tells me one thing. This is coffee. And when I say coffee, there is one word associated with coffee. It is Colombia. I don't know what to do. I should start dancing, drink my first coffee. Anyway, let's hear the contribution of my best friend from Colombia.
Desde el sector transporte de Colombia vemos el transporte sostenible como el encargado de conectar a las personas de una manera segura, confiable, saludable, pensando en cuidar el medio ambiente y en un mejor futuro para todos. Para nosotros el transporte sostenible involucra muchos elementos. Por un lado, involucra el concepto de cómo nos movemos hacia una transición energética. El gran reto es mover a la gente hacia el transporte público y disminuir el vehículo individual. Nosotros hemos venido trabajando con la consultoría de la GIZ que nos ha apoyado para identificar fuentes de financiación que nos permitan cerrar esa brecha. Por un lado, en el transporte público de pasajeros, por ejemplo, en los sistemas de transporte público. ¿Cómo lograr masificar esa compra de buses eléctricos teniendo en cuenta que aún hay una distancia importante entre el costo de la tecnología convencional y el costo de la tecnología, digamos, de los buses eléctricos o de los buses a gas?
Bogotá va hacia un sistema de transporte mucho más limpio. Ya hoy tenemos 483 buses eléctricos rodando. Dentro de poco tendremos 1.002 buses adicionales para completar los 1.485 que hemos adquirido. Esto es un avance fundamental y seguiremos trabajando en lograr mejores tasas, mejor financiación para poder adquirir muchos más buses eléctricos. Los siguientes pasos es lograr tener buses eléctricos en las troncales de Transmilenio también.
Pero dentro de todo ese concepto viene también el reto de introducir en todas las fases, tanto en la preconstrucción como en la construcción, como ya en la etapa de operación, los conceptos de inclusión en el diseño de todos los sistemas de transporte. Nosotros, con el apoyo de la consultoría internacional, emitimos unos lineamientos en julio del 2019 que involucran esos lineamientos no solo de inclusión de género, sino en general de inclusión en las distintas fases. Y eso es fundamental para diseñar inclusive las rutas de los sistemas de transporte que se implementen para lograr no solo una mayor eficiencia, sino para tener en realidad la necesidad de esas mujeres, pero también incorporar en el mantenimiento, en la operación y en la dirección de los sistemas, mujeres, porque así vamos a tener en cuenta esas necesidades y creo que vamos a tener una visión mucho más holística de los retos de los sistemas de transporte para que sean más inclusivos y realmente atiendan a las necesidades de la comunidad.
Es un sistema de igualdad al que tanto como los hombres y las mujeres podemos hacer lo mismo, inclusive mejor que ellos. Manejamos más suave, manejamos con más cuidado, con más precaución, tenemos menos choques.
Para los avances que tenemos, ha sido fundamental siempre el apoyo de la GIZ en los diferentes proyectos que venimos desarrollando. Destacamos lo importante en que han sido, por ejemplo, los apoyos de Transfer 3 para los análisis sobre la implementación de buses eléctricos en el país, los apoyos en el fortalecimiento de la gobernanza para la movilidad eléctrica y, por supuesto, el apoyo para que podamos avanzar hacia un sistema de monitoreo, reporte y verificación de gases de efecto invernadero. Hemos venido desarrollando un gran marco institucional de transporte sostenible y eso nos lleva a que estamos diseñando lo que es la Estrategia Nacional de Transporte Sostenible, que obviamente incluye la Estrategia Nacional de Movilidad Eléctrica, es decir, una parte es la Estrategia Nacional de Movilidad Eléctrica, pero también incorporar el concepto de movilidad activa. Eso también nos ha llevado como país a aumentar nuestra contribución nacionalmente determinada en las metas del Acuerdo de París, porque hoy ya nuestra meta no solo la actualizamos, sino que aumentamos el reto y nos pusimos como meta tener una reducción del 51% en los gases de efecto invernadero para el 2030.
Debemos garantizar que las ciudades se muevan en peatones, bicicletas y transporte público mayoritariamente. Si queremos evitar que otros modos de transporte que son contaminantes entren en las ciudades y que así no podamos avanzar en nuestro objetivo de cambio climático.
En la medida en que somos ambiciosos en los pasos que damos hacia la movilidad sostenible, sabemos que necesitamos lograr que esa movilidad sea sostenible para todos, niños, niñas, adolescentes, mujeres, adultos y adultos mayores. Agradecemos siempre ese acompañamiento y esperamos que podamos fortalecerlo para seguir impulsando el transporte sostenible en Colombia.
The video from Colombia showed us a truly inclusive approach. They are not only promoting women and gender equality in their public transport system, but also take into account the needs of the elderly and children. It's very, very nice. They also work on electric mobility. That is a big topic in Latin America. They have a target of 65% reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, and electric mobility is playing a big, big role. We could see that in the graphic. Very nice. And now we come to our guest, our live guest, Felipe Taga. He's a senior urban transport specialist from the World Bank and the former deputy vice minister for transport in Colombia. Welcome, Mr. Taga. It's great to have you in the Changing Transport Showtime.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We are awaiting eagerly your presentation. Please go ahead.
Thank you. And may I say that when we talk about Colombia, it's coffee and bicycles as well. So I'm gonna tell you about a pilot. I don't know if you're seeing the presentation already. Thank you. A pilot that we are supporting with the city of Bogota. It's called Cargo Bike or Bici Carga. We are financing this pilot with our partner company, the International Finance Corporation, IFC, and we have been we brought like other local partners like Logica, the MIT, Farol Lab, and the Espacio. This is a 6-month pilot, that started last December to promote sustainable alternatives for freight distribution in the city, the last mile with e-cargo bikes. Next, please. The motivation that we have to support this pilot was to identify key stakeholders and understanding the requirements in order to build up value network around cycle logistics for last mile delivery within the city. We expect that the results of the pilot will raise awareness among relevant stakeholders and provide key database policy and regulatory recommendations to help, to promote the scaling up and to accelerate the take-up of electric cargo bikes for freight solutions in urban centers. Next, please. Who is participating in this pilot? We managed, to bring in one of the biggest freight and logistics operators in Colombia. And more importantly, we are also able to support local industry, local vehicle manufacturers of these e-cargo bikes. In particular, we are working with 4 freight generators, 3 logistics operators, 3 local e-cargo bike manufacturers, 1 tech company, and 1 land operator. This pilot is being implemented in 3 different areas of the city and using different models. Basically, the first model is a model that consists of companies that have their own fleet. It involves companies that have their collection centers within this area. That is an area around 5 kilometers. And the other model is a model that we are incubating, that we are actually supporting with the grant to run a collaborative cross-docking platform in a central area, that is called Chapinero. That has, the highest commercial density and a good cycle infrastructure. And this model, the second model, the cross-docking, started operation in January of this year. Next, please. So some preliminary results of the pilot implementation. We have been operating for 4 months. And the project, as a global has avoided, a distance of almost 300 kilometers of traditional motor vehicles. It have reduced around a ton of CO2 emissions and have replaced 5 motor vehicles, reaching up to 10,000 customers. The results for these 3 companies, they originally were operating, one of the companies were operating with 3 motorcycles, and it was replaced with 3 cargo bikes. The e-commerce operator also changed 1 motorcycle for 1 e-cargo bikes, and the manufacturer food products replaced 1 truck, 1-ton truck with 2 e-cargo bikes. Generally, we have found that more efficient operation with 0 emissions and reduced operational costs. For example, in operating by 8 hours, these e-cargo bikes deliver and cover more distance compared with the previous motor vehicles as a result of better maneuverability and increased capillarity that these bicycles can offer. They double the load capacity of e-cargo bikes compared with traditional motorcycles, particularly almost 50% more kilograms per kilometer than the motorcycle. Other KPI that we have in the design of the pilot is the effective delivery indicator that has increased by 3%, translated in around $800 in additional sales per month in one of these companies. And currently, these companies are evaluating permanent changes on replacing trucks, and motorcycles with these e-cargo bikes. Next, please. In particular, just to show you an example of the Model 1 with manufactured food products, some preliminary results, 14% increase in the number of deliveries per day, more efficient distribution with a reduction of 1.8 hours per day in the operation itself, reduced distance travel, vehicle mass travel by 27%, and increased effective deliveries, as I mentioned before, by 3%. This may seem, still, small numbers because the scale of the pilot, but has, a big potential as, this is a scale up. Next, please. There are also, some challenges and opportunities that we are evaluating as the pilot is closing. In terms of infrastructure, we are evaluating, the appropriate lane width, for the routes in the bike paths. They are also operating limitations in areas with the steepest slopes. We are also identifying potential micro hubs, like for expanding on a scale in this cross-docking platform that can be hand in hand, with the regulation of 0 or low emission zones. We are also informing the regulatory framework for public policies at the local and national level. In terms of technology, we are supporting with the mobile app of the city, incubating, and accelerating some technological, database solution that can integrate and bundle, the 3 components that are key for the system: traceability, routing, and performance measures. And we are supporting, better articulation with stakeholders to guarantee a sustainable model for retailers, encourage more active role of carriers in this last mile delivery business, and other issues related to level of service, security, occupational health of drivers, and more important, the inclusion of women in this logistics operation. Thank you very much.
Felipe, that was an amazing contribution. And sorry, because always we have very, very short time. Let me make you one yes-no question. And I think you already mentioned something. The pilot shows very nice results, impact. It's going to be there kind of continuation, replication, new business model. It's going to continue, not without intervention of the banks?
Yes, we are actually getting funding for a second phase, phase that will involve a cross-docking model co-financed by the private sector and the city. And eventually we want like a third phase will, start, to be catalytic, and it doesn't require support, from the World Bank and the partners, and the private sector can start to take off, and finance their cross-docking operations. So yes, we are planning a second phase that will get us until December of this year.
Many, many thanks, Felipe. It was very nice to have you here in the Transport and Climate Change Week. And now that you were with us and we are still in Colombia, we will move a little bit to Medellín, if we can continue now. Thank you very much, Felipe.
You. Hello from Hamburg. My name is Moritz Petersen. I'm the director.
Les damos la bienvenida a ZUAP, una zona que se transforma para respirar, donde el centro de todo es vivir y redescubrir. Las personas que habitamos las ciudades enfrentamos un reto inmenso: ser conscientes del impacto de nuestras decisiones y actividades cotidianas en el ambiente. Las montañas que nos rodean hacen hermosa nuestra ciudad, pero particularmente en temas ambientales. En calidad del aire, por ejemplo, nuestra topografía hace que los contaminantes en la atmósfera permanezcan por mucho más tiempo en el aire, y muchos de estos son peligrosos para nuestra salud. Desde la Alcaldía de Medellín, de la mano con el Área Metropolitana del Valle de Aburrá, Autoridad Ambiental del Territorio, contamos con una estrategia de recuperación y protección del aire que comienza a construirse como cumplimiento a la responsabilidad del cuidado de la salud, del ambiente y a la mitigación del cambio climático. La ZUAP, Zona Urbana de Aire Protegido, comprende el centro tradicional e histórico de la ciudad, un lugar donde predomina el comercio y convergen los diferentes sistemas de transporte público. Esta zona tiene como objetivo una transformación del centro hacia un espacio donde las personas son lo más importante, donde nos apropiamos del espacio público y disfrutamos del comercio y la cultura en una ciudad que se ocupa por generar relaciones armónicas entre el ser humano y su entorno. Las personas que elegimos la movilidad activa, es decir, esa movilidad que no requiere un motor más que el corazón para desplazarnos, así como quienes hacemos uso del transporte público, somos la prioridad en la transformación del centro de Medellín. Durante el 2021, nuestro propósito es sensibilizar y abrir espacios de construcción colectiva con la ciudadanía para soñar en conjunto lo que será esta zona. Posteriormente, en 2022 y 2023, implementaremos las medidas que busquen disminuir las concentraciones de emisiones contaminantes producidas por vehículos que usan gasolina y diésel, y mediremos el impacto de la mano de la autoridad ambiental. Abriremos espacios permanentes y temporales para caminar más y usar en mayor medida el transporte público y la bicicleta, para lo cual también se contempla mejorar la infraestructura para la movilidad más sostenible. La habilitación de espacios más iluminados, seguros y generadores de bienestar son nuestro llamado para que cada día más mujeres también nos movamos en bicicleta. Esto es ZUAP, donde lo moderno y lo bohemio conviven y nos muestran otras perspectivas de la vida. Donde un café sabe más rico que nunca, donde un parque te cubre de tranquilidad, donde un saludo nos llena de calor humano, donde un baile, una pintura o una canción nos alegran, donde el comercio da vida a la actividad económica de la ciudad. Esto es ZUAP, una zona para respirar, caminar, pedalear y disfrutar una parte de nuestra ciudad que sorprende y encanta, llena de historias, vivencias, donde tú y yo somos parte del cambio. ZUAP, aquí comienza la transformación del centro y de la ciudad.
There is a lot going on transport in Colombia, apparently. This video, ZUAP Now, just showed us how they're working on low emission zones, another topic that we haven't touched so much until now, I think, in our showtime. And, well, it shows us that active mobility is something that requires a heart and not a motor. I think that's how they called it. We will now continue and jump right into another topic, which is sustainable logistics.
Hello from Hamburg. My name is Moritz Petersen. I'm the director of the Center for Sustainable Logistics and Supply Chains at Kühne Logistics University. And today I'll present you some insights from a recent study we did together with FNL, the European Freight and Logistics Leadership Forum, on the topic of logistics decarbonization. For this study, we combined data from a survey with industry leaders, from a panel discussion on the topic, as well as several case studies from logistics companies that showcase their decarbonization efforts. As I have only a couple of minutes today, I can only show you some data points, but if you want to have a look at the full study and the full report, then please go to the-klu.org/sustainability study and you'll find it there. So let's start with some good news. More than half of the companies in our sample have a strategy in place or are implementing one at the moment that focuses on improving the sustainability of their logistics operations. However, a quarter of the companies from the sample still resorts to either ad hoc measures or has no sustainability initiatives at all in place. If we look at reduction targets for CO2 emissions, around a third of companies sets no reduction targets yet. On the positive side, 40% of our respondents said that they either set absolute reduction targets or even targets in line with the Science-Based Targeting Initiative. And this is especially important as the logistics sector continues to grow at a fast pace. We also asked companies about what in their experience have been the most cost-effective interventions to cut CO2. And surprisingly, the top two measures don't involve any kind of high-end technology, but are something that you could call good logistics practice. So either shifting more freight to low carbon transport modes or simply improve vehicle loading. However, achieving deep decarbonization of the industry will require more than good logistics practice. That is why we were interested in whether the participants think that there are any new skills that need to be learned in this respect. And 10% of our respondents said, well, there is nothing new to learn. Surprisingly enough, those are the companies that are not really advanced in terms of emissions reduction. 30% on the other end of the spectrum say that there are many new skills needed, and some are listed here, and they include operational topics like measuring and reporting emissions, but also rather macro level topics like knowledge about sustainability in the first place, about trends and principles. So overall, our study shows two things. First, that many good things are happening already in the industry, but second, that the road ahead is long and winding, especially given the fast growth of transport volumes all over the world. So thank you for your attention. If you have any question, feel free to reach out to either me or one of my colleagues at the Center for Sustainable Logistics and Supply Chains. And overall, have a great time at the Transport and Climate Change Week.
Very interesting study about logistics and decarbonization. And the summary in these two aspects, many things are already happening, but the road ahead is long and not so easy. And now it's time that we can share with you the results of the poll we have this morning. You can see now in the screen, I must confess, result is completely different from the one we did this morning in Berlin. The post-COVID transport sector will be more sustainable, 50% answer, less sustainable, only 16.7%, and change 33%. I think we have more optimistic people now because it is 50% says it will be more sustainable.
Very well. Well, we are coming to an end now, but want to take a final look at the agenda for the rest of the day because, well, our job is maybe over, but the agenda continues. Latin American program is ahead of us. We had the ICI consultation hour. I think that is already over, but there is a high-level roundtable together with the BMU by invitation only. And we have the hydrogen hour. We will talk about project experiences about Power to X, and there will be a panel, a high-level panel on sustainable aviation. And there will be, right after this showtime, a workshop. And we have a guest to give us a little bit of a teaser on that. And that is Corinna Winter. She is an advisor and will tell us about financing electric buses in Colombia. Welcome, Corinna.
Thank you very much, Ernesto. Nadia, I really want to congratulate you to this great format, the Showtime. For you, it was your last session. For Ernesto, I have to confess that I will take him as a co-moderator for the workshop right now on how e-mobility can contribute to green recovery. And we will have expert inputs on good practices for public policies, also business models for e-buses, especially, for example, Felipe Ramirez from Colombia. And we will also have inputs on training needs and job generation in the sector. So we will start in about 15 minutes, and please join us.
Thank you very much, Corinna, also for your kind words. Well, this was it from us. Our time is over. Ernesto and I were very, very glad to be your host. It was a lot of fun. I kind of have a problem to realize that it's over already. Those 3 days and 6 showtimes passed by really, really quick, right? But, well, a big thank you to everyone involved, also to all our partners. GIZ is not organizing the Transport Week alone. We have a lot of partners. We also had a lot of contributions. You saw all those amazing videos that were produced and sent in, all the guests we had. So once more, thank you to those. And of course, thank you to you for watching us. Ernesto, do you have a final words?
Yeah, I want to thank you, Nadia, all the team that support us, the colleagues that were supporting every day us. I feel very, very comfortable in this space. I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. Hope to work together next year. Goodbye, Nadia.
We'll see you again next year.
Thank you.